We made it, ladies and gentlemen, 1K subs. Now I can officially sell out for that sweet YouTube ad revenue. So, a few pointers on the state of channel moving forward. Please enjoy this footage of me playing Dusk badly while I talk. I don't think I'll make a video on Dusk in case that perked up your interest. It's great, go play it, end of review. First of all, the ads. As per YouTube terms and conditions, they can just slap them on top of my videos even if I'm not in the partnership, so I might as well get something out of it. Hopefully more exposure for the videos. If you don't like ads, there are a few ways around it. One, I have a Patreon and a pitch of any amount gives you access to the playlist of all the videos unlisted and demonetized. That's all it does aside from giving you a channel to ask me something directly and a shoutout at the end of following videos. There are no tiers, nor do I really like sharing my process until it's fully done or anything like that. I do it more for my ego than money, and things like backer rewards just seem like a tremendous waste of time for something that's essentially advertising. 2. There are methods I can't mention here, but nobody is stopping you from googling how to avoid ads. 3. You can buy YouTube... Yeah. Agenda 2. Sponsors. I don't like sponsors very much when watching videos. I'm not completely opposed to someone approaching me, but I don't think I will segue from a video on the philosophical aspects of Tetris to selling you something like hair loss medicine or something. Additionally, I don't want to promote anything I can't try myself. For example, a certain prominent sponsor, let's call them €1 Barber Lounge, does not ship to Poland despite me wanting to try their services out after hearing about them on a podcast. So, if a sponsor approaches me about a US-only product, they're not gonna get a spot since I won't be able to try the product out. And finally, any sponsor spots are gonna be cut out of the Patreon version of the video. They are an ad, after all. Agenda 3. Transparency. If someone approaches me about giving me a review code for a game so I can make a video on it, you'll hear about it first thing in the video on that title. If they say I should not mention it, then no video, simple as. If there is any red tape involved, you'll know. I expect most of my work will stay on the topic of obscure stuff though. Final agenda, going forward. There is an unlikely chance that this will be enough to make me earn a living. If that ever happens, don't expect videos to come out more often. Even if I drop out of my job, 1 per month is the goal that will only be exceeded if I feel like it. The extra time might contribute to things like more time spent on research and editing, or me contributing to other projects like finally working on that goddamn novel idea, Jesus Christ, it's been a decade, but no promise of increased output ever. I know what burnout means and I do not want to burn out on this. And with that, let's get to questions and answering them, both from Twitter and the YouTube community post. I also wanted to do a let's read of Ryunosuke Akutagawa's Hellscreen, but while the story itself is public domain, I don't know if a particular translation is, and it's way too much reading for my mediocre acting skills. Just Google it and you can easily find a PDF version. Highly recommend it. Alright, questions. What's a genre or specific game that you wanted to get into in the past, but it just didn't click with you? And would you ever make a Discord server for the channel? Bullet hells, they always look fantastic, but I don't have the patience or perception to learn the patterns. I recently played some Revolver 360 Reactor, beat the first stage and then decided to just watch the #1 recording from the leaderboard. And I don't regret one bit, it was like watching a dance performance. As for a Discord server, no. I don't like being in a large server to begin with, let alone having to manage it in any way. I'm flattered by the idea of a community formed around my bad little videos, but I'd rather just deal with YouTube comments than a whole space of people talking. Do you know what the public needs, tuber? Kentucky Road Zero sure sounds interesting, especially now that I subscribe to Game Pass again. I'll definitely give it a look by the end of the year, but I can promise no more than that for the time being. Are there any ideas for long vids bouncing around in your head right now? Some kind of serious retrospectives maybe? The full reading of Project Moon games is definitely gonna be a long one. A Morrowind video as well, because I love and hate that game in equal measures, but I gotta beat the expansions first. I don't think there is any series I could do a retrospective on in a manner that I would find interesting. Ace Attorney would probably come the closest, but I still have to play any of the 3DS games, including Layton vs. Wright. Square up, prude. I can't, my body is all circles, no corners. Would you consider reviewing my favorite obscure DOS game? It's called Kingmaker. It really depends on how much I have to say after I play it, which I haven't. I'll give it a look someday, but if I include it in some way, it would probably be along other those titles I want to gush about, like the original XCOM or Sid Meier's Secret Service. Or was it Top Secret? Ah, never mind. What are your favorite genres of games and other medias? Genres are all fake, a way to signpost some design or aesthetic elements that are in no way binding. That said, if a game has me actively thinking about it, be it due to story like Pathologic or due to its design like the first Deus Ex, that goes on the top whatever for sure. I usually enjoy games that call themselves role-playing experiences because they most often deliver on either good writing or interesting ways to engage with said writing. I also love turn-based strategy games despite sucking at them quite terribly. As for other media, I like a good mystery or a tense ride that makes me empathize with a scumbag. What is your current opinion on horses? Same as always, I don't like the way they smell and I also don't get why they are this romanticized. Gonna play halflings in all fantasy games just to ride a dog instead. Horse is mine. Planning on covering any other Suda/Grasshopper games? Stuff like Flowers and Rain, Travis Strikes Again, Let It Die, and probably a few others I'm forgetting. Definitely, I have 25th Ward and Killer is Dead on Steam. I definitely want to give Flower, Sun and Rain a try, and I'm gonna ride the Travis wave to the end. Probably gonna sleep on Let It Die due to it being a free-to-play grindfest though. When you experience the great cargo of responsibility for neglecting visiting the deepest void, even to hear 2 sudden knocks at your door, I suggest you to know by heart this threat, it might strike again too. None of these words are in the Bible. That said, know by heart and the void videos are coming this year in that order. What is one game series you've never played but want to get into? Touhou, as per previous comment on my ineptitude with bullet hell games. Aside from that, I've heard a lot of good things about Kiseki/Trails games and I have Trails in the Sky on my Steam account, but the mood haven't struck me yet. 1. What hyped up piece of media, games, movie, anime, etc. were the biggest disappointment for you? 2. Is there any genre of anything you didn't like/care for years on end but grew to like? 3. Gun to the head, Disco Elysium or Bloodlines. 4. Biggest guilty pleasure piece of media. 1. Mass Effect as a whole, Bioshock after replaying it. I really liked it as a teen. Return of Obra Dinn, it's not bad, but not worth recommending really. All Indiana Jones movies after the first one, which is really great. Kimetsu no Yaiba, it's okay, the train movie was fun, still haven't seen season 2. That's all that comes to mind. 2. I'm growing to enjoy shooting heavy games more and more now. I'm still far from being good at them, but I finally understand why everyone loved Quake 3 so much. 3. Disco, definitely. I love Bloodlines to death, but Disco is a masterpiece through and through. 4. I don't have guilty pleasures, I wear my taste on my sleeve. 1. How was your day? 2. What inspires you to make videos? 3. Will you ever open a Discord server? 4. What has been your favorite and least favorite video you made so far? Keep up the good work. 1. It was good, thank you. I go back to work after a week of break tomorrow and man am I not looking forward to it. 2. I'm a rambling old man and people don't like to read ramblings, so I gotta record them. I regret not starting sooner, to be honest. 3. As per the same question asked before, no. 4. Least favorite is easy, the Attack on Titan one. I lost thousands of words of the script due to a bug on the software I used. Vegas crashed on me several times and needed 24 hours to render it. Then it got a bunch of copyright flags, so I had to render it again, and honestly, it looks kinda trash. I think it's still blocked in some countries, and I have zero motivation to remake it. Anime is hell. Most favorite is either the Silver Case one or Valhalla one. The former because I really liked digging into that game due to how little it said directly, and discussing it as a piece of philosophical writing got me going. The latter because it's the most personal one I made. Thank you, I'll try. Any piece of media that has been put through a general analysis/review blender repeatedly and or thoroughly, but you still want to tackle it on your own channel. New Vegas, Morrowind, and Silent Hill 2 for sure. The latter especially has been drilling holes in me for the past few months. Outside of games, I definitely want to discuss Legend of Galactic Heroes, Dune and Solaris in some capacity. I don't think that they went through a blender of video essays quite as much, but they were definitely discussed to death even before YouTube. Any games that haven't been released yet that you think you might do videos on? Anything released by Aspic Lodge, Zaum or Project Moon. I'm not waiting with bated breath for any releases, but this is mostly because the video idea forms as I play, so it's hard to tell what wriggles my brain worms before it releases. Who is the person you'd say is most responsible for your success, and why is it me? Me, myself and I. But hey, you are definitely in the top 1000 people of why this video exists. What's the first thing you're going to buy with this sweet, sweet ad money? I'll buy some sushi to celebrate the first payout with Milov. After that, I don't know. I plan on getting the full version of DaVinci Resolve for sure, because that program slaps. Some of it will probably pay off the costs of my wedding. Maybe I'll finally buy a book and read it. Thoughts on Bobby cartoons? This tells me nothing, and googling it didn't help. Haven't seen Star Trek the animated series outside of parodies. What the fuck does Kafkaesque mean, and why is it a meme? It means like from a Kafka novel, which were all pretty darkly comedic, like allegedly Kafka was chuckling to himself when reading parts of his manuscripts to his horrified friends. Mostly it is about drawing parallel between your current situation and Kafka's trial, in which the protagonist, Joseph K., is sentenced to death but nobody will tell him what his crime is, and he goes through surreal Byzantine labyrinths of bureaucracy, not even having the strength to argue his case until he sees the beauty of the watch right before his death. It's about feeling trapped with no way out because you're not even quite sure what's keeping you prisoner. It's a meme because of a scene in Breaking Bad. What's your thoughts on rage games like Getting Over It and the Jump King? Getting Over It seems chill if you don't play it under time pressure, like knitting something with no idea whether you'll end up with a scarf or a sweater. Lots of repetition and mistakes that unravel the whole thing. I have no idea about Jump King though. Precision jumping always makes me anxious, so it might not achieve the same effect with me specifically. In general, it feels like these games are rage-inducing if you set a goal for yourself, because it's easy to lose a tons of progress. But at the same time, there is no fail state, just having to try again from scratch, maybe even saving it on the way down. Also, the final goal doesn't seem to matter that much, so I don't feel like something is being kept away from me by the skill barrier. The skill itself is the whole experience. Again, like knitting. Sort the following. 2B, A2, Kaine, 0, mana from Drakengard 2. Kaine, power gap, 0, power gap, A2, mana, 2B. I like 2B, but the oversaturation of porn and pornified art just made me roll my eyes upon seeing her, even before Automata came out. I like her as a character, but she doesn't tug at my heart quite like the other four. What is the biggest animal you could convince someone to fight? What is the oldest game you've managed to enjoy despite its age? Gun design you consider to be the coolest one, be it fictional or not? Do you have any extremely obscure games you've played from start to finish, like maybe something that at most 50 people on the whole world played through? Do you know how good Spirit Circle is? I think I could get people drunk enough to wrestle with a really big dog. I played a shitload of Ninja Turtles 3 with my cousins on the SNES, and that's from 1991, I think. Walter W2000 for rifles, the Blade Runner handgun for handguns. Pathologic Classic HD, aside from that, Diggles/Wiggles on PC, which is basically Dwarf Fortress for children. No, I don't. And that's that. See you in a real video soon. Also play Dusk.